My name is Master Sergeant Jermaine James. I'm originally from Selma, Alabama. Grew up there until I was about 6, and then my family moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And that's probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, because I got to see both kind of like the countryside growing up in Selma and then moving to a big city. But it also kind of made me more curious. So when I went to college, I was in ROTC. I was actually Marine ROTC. Wasn't I guess supposed to be in the Air Force. My brother's a Marine, and most of my family's Army Marines. But in the end, I ended up joining the Air Force mainly because I wanted to travel and I wanted to see all those things. As I was moving from Alabama to Georgia, I also wanted to move and see what was going on in some of the other parts of the U.S. as well as overseas.
Hi, I'm Adriana Placer. I was born in Cali, Colombia. I immigrated to the United States when I was 18 years old, became an American citizen 3 years later, and then joined the military when I was 33 years old. For different reasons, I didn't join before, but after 9/11, I decided to join the military because I wanted to provide more security for my family and for myself.
Okay, so I am Master Sergeant Tanisha Austin McKinney, and I am from Detroit, Michigan. I grew up there. I was not born there. I was born in Tacoma, Washington. My dad was in the Army. I'm an Army brat. My mom raised my brother and I from age of 3 in Detroit. So that's where I call home.
So I'm Technical Sergeant Tenzin Chingchuk. I was actually born and raised in India and Tibet. So I consider myself as a Tibetan American. So about when I was 16, me and my family decided to move to the United States, and then everything just started from there.
So my name is Alicia Maharaj. I'm from a small twin island nation called Trinidad and Tobago. They're the last 2 islands in the Caribbean, and yeah, that's where I'm from.
Hello, my name is Staff Sergeant Omar Mickens. I was born in Vicenza, Italy. And my ethnicity is multiracial, so the majority is African American and Arabic, or the country's Algeria, which is North Africa. And I grew up abroad, so I moved from Italy to Germany, back and forth, and then to the States finally when I was like 8 or 9.
Okay, so I'm Lieutenant Malcolm Williams. I'm from Florida, but that's just what I claim. I'm actually from Germany. I was born in Wiesbaden, Germany. My dad is black, my mom is German. So my dad served 24 years in the Army, and when he was over here, he met a German woman and they got married. So I lived here in Germany for 3 years, and it's cool to be able to come back and serve over here too.
Okay, I'm Bianca Beitenheimer. I was born here actually in Germany, born and raised in Europe. My mom is German, my dad is American, he was in the military, and he was stationed in Stuttgart, so that's where they met. So lived in Germany actually for 10 years, went to German school. German's actually my first language. Okay. And then, so yes, and I am a naturalized American because I was born overseas.
My name is Gar Salmon. I was born and raised in Jamaica. Moved to the U.S. 6 years ago. When I first moved to the U.S., lived in Boston for a couple months, and then decided to join the military, and then I've pretty much been stationed in Colorado ever since, and then I've been here for 5 months now.
Europe's been great. Europe's already diverse in itself, having so many different cultures just around Germany. So Europe probably I could not have asked for a better place to be stationed than in Germany. And also, I get a lot of questions about where am I from, what ethnicity am I, and it's actually a good thing because it's just adding to their diversity, it's adding to my diversity. Most of my neighbors speak 3, 4 different languages. I only speak 1. I'm struggling sometimes to do that. But at the same time, me adding to their diversity and that exchange helps us both. So while they're learning about mine, I'm learning about theirs. So it's a great thing to be in Europe.
Oh, it's great. I'm a believer that if you treat everybody with respect, you will get respect back. And since I've been here, everybody has been super nice to me, and very nice, very accepting of who I am as a person. I really like it.
Diversity.
Well, actually, growing up overseas here in Europe, I went to German school and didn't really realize that I was kind of different with being half American, half German kind of thing. So just growing up in that environment and just realizing in Europe you can go from country to country so easily and travel, and then going to Italy when I went to Dodd school there, that was the opposite. I was a German, a half German, going to the American school. So kind of getting to see both sides of and accepting me was kind of my experience growing up overseas.
I do, in a way that people from African American has I would say that they have struggled in the past, and then as far as preserving their culture, I feel like African American being a minority culture, I kind of feel connected in a way that me being an Asian American, we consider ourselves as a minority as well. So I feel connection in that way.
Yes, I feel connected because I'm Caribbean, and so there's a large group of Caribbean people that are also from Africa, so to speak. So we do have ties. We're all connected. We do have those ties, and yes, I feel very connected because of having all the different experiences and having all these different countries, these different islands that mesh together to become one, and we do have that connection.
So, as I've said, I grew up pretty much in a black home because my mom was white, but she was German white. So I didn't have a lot of white American influence in my home growing up. So I had a lot of classic R&B, a lot of soul, watching a lot of black movies and things like that, or what America would say are black movies. And so I've always had a strong calling, or a strong bond with my African American side.
Well, honestly, I trust our list leaders at the top, but at the same time, I trust them to do whatever is needed to maintain good order and discipline. The issue is there enough inclusivity at the top to allow those regulations to filter down to the subordinates? And if that's the case, we should never worry about whether it's a hairstyle or any other regulation, because we have enough people at the table that will make those different views apparent, so that when regulations are made, they will include everybody that's in there.
I believe that, you know, AFB 362903 is always up for interpretation, and I usually tell the folks I supervise, do what your stripes can handle. You know, if you feel comfortable that you can come in the office with bright pink hair and not have any, you know, repercussions, then go ahead and try it. But as far as me, I try to stay under the radar, as hard as that is to believe. But I try not to draw negative attention to myself, regardless of who that may come from or if it's warranted. But I try to take my time and read the regs thoroughly and understand them, and also be accepting of whoever is, you know, coming in with their hair, you know, in a different style, different color, you know, whatever that case may be. So I haven't had any issues in the past.
It definitely intrigues me. Mostly, like, again, I feel like growing up in Jamaica kind of shapes the way how I look at a lot of things too. Is there is like natural hair is like really important. It's seen as like natural beauty. And so I really value that. And on top of that, like my mom, like she had natural hair like her whole life. So that is like my definition of beauty. And then I've also like, I always tell people a lot of times is like with like social media and everything, I feel like they give off the wrong impression of what beauty is. And people try to live up to that.
Diversify you.
Oh yes, definitely, because it exposed me to learn and for other cultures to learn how they do things, and educates me of being more understanding when I see something different in a person than, you know, as humans we judge very fast. But when you are educating, when you read about it, it teaches you in the military doing these celebrations. I think it's great. I think it brings everybody together.
Yes, it gives an opportunity for everyone to see how people are different. It kind of gives us a little education, especially with the events that people can attend, the school involvement that we have here, especially.
I like it. As I said, like it brings observances to like everything that happens in a culture, and the only thing that I will say is I've noticed like it's only during like Black History Month that like African Americans really like, you know, put themselves out there, show like how successful they are, like what they have like going on for them, and I don't think that's okay. I think that should be like an everyday thing. You know what I mean? Just not that month. Like, just show Black excellence all year round.
So I feel Black History Month as an initiative. It started off as a good way to have African Americans celebrate their history. I feel we should celebrate our history a little more than just one month of the year. I know that there's a lot of Black history that isn't publicized in public schools, and I think as a Black culture we should take more steps to learn and to teach our youth about our history that they might not learn on a regular basis or within 28 days of a month.
Again, it's a good start because not a lot of people are aware of the differences in the different cultures. So it does help to educate people, to introduce them to different cultures and to learn about different lifestyle, different ways of living, different experiences. So it does, I think it's a really good thing.
I think opportunities, because not every country has an opportunity to do something. So like if you want to enlist or if you want to go to school, or like for example, some countries, if you're a female, you only have so many opportunities or you're limited to stuff. In some countries, your race, you know, defines that. So I feel like opportunity is the biggest thing that we get versus other places.
At the end of the day, we're all human. We're all creatures of habit, and I think love is what should really bring everyone together. Everyone wants to be loved, everyone wants to give love. If we look at each other through a loving lens, we'll be more willing to understand other cultures, to understand different opinions. You don't have to agree with everything that everyone says to love that person. And so that's kind of my philosophy on life, is loving one another, loving your neighbor as yourself is how we come together and how we learn each other.
It is great for me. I'm very pleased to be living in the United States, because I think it's one of the countries in the world where you can see diversity in full mode. And I adore that, because it amazes me that every day I learn from different people, from different cultures, and no matter where I go, you know, I'm always learning. So to me, it's a great tool to make me a better person, a better human, not to judge anybody, you know, right away, and to learn about you know, human lives. And to me, it's a very good tool to have diversity.
Now, diversity, it just means having those experiences, different experiences than everybody, than the norm. And to be quite honest, I don't think anything is a norm right now, because there's so many different cultures that have come together in all different parts of the world. And mean, the world used to be one area where it was either white or black, now it's like brown. You just don't know what you're going to get. So diversity, I think it really helps. It's something that's really important. Knowing what somebody brings to the table that is going to be different than what you bring. It means being different and being able to accept others who are different and being able to respect those people for what they are and what they bring to the table.
So I guess the best way to say diversity to me is like an example. So like a public pool. So you have your tall people, your fat people, black, white, people who can't swim, people who bring their food, people who pee in the water. So that's how I see diversity. Just a big, you know, mix.
So in a nutshell, diversity to me means difference. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean race, culture. I mean, it can mean everything. It can mean age, it could be background, experience. And so that's what diversity means to me in a nutshell.
Diversity for me is knowing that every person is different in their own way and every person is unique in their own way, and to accept and to recognize those uniqueness and differences.
To me, I'd say diversity is it's kind of like a party. You know, back home we would have like huge beach parties. Everybody's invited. Like everybody brings food, brings their own kind of music, and their own dance moves. You know what I mean? So it's like something you don't know. You learn that dance move, then you like incorporate it into yours. You make it better. Like it's just everybody having fun, and you get a little mix of everything. And you just kind of see what each like culture is about, and you just kind of adapt things from that culture and just like make it your own.
Diversity to me is just being able to understand our different cultures and being respectful to each other and understanding that we come from different backgrounds, we have different stories, but we can all learn from each other and just grow and improve and go forward. So, Bianca, do I look at you?
Yes.
Bianca,
Practicing.
you're totally recording all of this, aren't
I
you?
am totally not recording this.
I'm gonna have to pause on that one. Look at my note. Alright, so man. Okay, hold on a second.
How do you do that?
It'll be awesome. It's gonna be a blooper reel.
A
blooper.
We'll sell it on.
She had it.